no matter what. The president, being in Japan, has a Brooklyn and New York City accent, and I believe that's like a translation case. And it's like I think the idea is they're trying to depict a Kyoto accent, because as I understand, Kyoto dialect is like different from other places in Japan. So I think they're trying to emulate that in an English manner. I attempted to strike at the walls with my persona, but nothing happened.
So many invisible walls, one after another. Miss President can pass through them. I don't know if I can keep up the pursuit.
The announcement room is still my destination. There's no way to know if that's where Miss President is headed at as well. But if there's a shadow waiting for me there, I need to get there anyway. Teddy and Rise should be in the announcement room. And if Nanako is being held captive, that's where she'd be as well. I have to keep running, but yet another wall blocks my way. At first, I think this is a dead end. I realize that I cut through a classroom and come out on the other side of the wall. It's forcing me to enter the room, rather than letting me go straight. This probably means... I brace myself and put my hand on the door. The moment I step inside, a familiar voice echoes in my mind.
Hi. Senpai! Can you hear me? Please answer me!
Holy crap,
that voice. Is that you, Rise?
Whoops, sorry. The real one? Her voice isn't coming from the PA system. I'm actually hearing it in my head. This has to be the work of Rise's persona.
Thank goodness. I've been all alone since that weird fake Teddy captured me. And then you were all fighting each other.
I can hear the relief in her voice. She sounds so different from the insensitive and rude voice that had been coming from the PA system. This is indeed the Rise I know.
Where are you now, Rise? Can you locate where I am?
I'm sorry, I don't think there's time. I'm stuck in the announcement room. Please, Senpai, you have to hurry. If you don't, he'll...
Rise! What's wrong, Rise?
Well, crud. There was no answer. The communication has been cut off. Has something happened in the announcement room? My heart begins racing. The enemy made us fight each other as participants in this tournament, but they had captured Rise as well. Yes, Sans and Undertale has a country bumpkin accent in Japanese. Yeah, I can imagine that, actually. It's clear to me that they must have been worried about her using her persona's powers to tell us the truth. But that's not important right now. If she was just captured to prevent her from contacting us, then the enemy must think Rie as being less valuable than those who had to fight. She sounded okay, but who knows what might have happened to her now. I have to hurry.
For interrupting while you are lost in thought.
Aegis! P3 best girl! A hand brushes my shoulder. In surprise, I jump away and draw my sword. I can't believe that I let myself get lost in thought that I can't believe that I let myself get so lost in thought that I didn't notice someone until they touched me. This is the second time I've let myself get so distracted. I've gotten used to having my friends with me while we investigated last year. I can't pay attention to the entire world on my own. I need to brace myself. I look up and see another unfamiliar face. A girl with blonde hair and striking blue eyes. P3, best girl! Wait, a girl? Her face and voice seem human-like, but the rest of her, there's metal everywhere, all over her body. For a moment, I wonder if this is an elaborate costume, but I can see the interior framework of her body where joints connect.
I didn't mean to startle you.
You're,
It's nice to meet you. My name is Aegis. And no, I am not human.
P3, best girl. I love Aegis.
You are the one from the introduction video, listed as the Sister Complex Kingpin of Steel, Narukami-san, correct?
She still says that so nonchalantly. The question catches me off guard. I wasn't expecting a complete stranger to call me that. And did she say she wasn't human? It's, well, Yosuke called me by that stupid title. When Yosuke called me by that stupid title, I knew it was a joke. But when a stranger says it, it sounds like they truly believe it. This is a pain.
Nanako is important to me, but calling it a complex is stretching things.
No, wait a second. I was trying to play it off, but I ended up blurting out Nanako's name anyway. Calm down. I need to take this conversation away from the subject. I clear my throat and try to start over.
Aegis-san, was it? Why are you here?
Our primary objective is the destruction of shadows, but we have come to this world on a different mission.
The destruction of shadows.
She fights shadows? But how can she do that if...
And does that mean...
Yes, I have a persona as well. Though my body is a machine, personas are the strength of the heart after all.
Just as I thought. I'm surprised to find another persona user outside of my group of friends. And a robot on top of that. Wait until you meet the dog. I can't come to grips with all of this. From the way we were talking, she seems just like a normal person, only in an interesting suit. Sure, I've seen stories on the news about robots looking uncannily like real humans, but isn't something like this far beyond those? Still, I can't help but believe the evidence of my. I can't help but believe the evidence of my own eyes. I mean, I've been hopping in and out of the TV for the past year. Who am I to say what's strange or not? Perhaps the technology behind her creation has supernatural roots of its own. I find myself growing more and more interested in how she came to be here, but I have to put that aside for now. There's something I need to find out from her first. The P1 Grand Prix is so similar to the events of last year, but to think that it would involve someone like her. I don't have a clear picture of everything that's happening, that's for sure. I calm myself, then ask her what I feel would tell me what she's doing in this world.
What is this mission of yours?
She opens her mouth to respond, but just then... the monitor inside the classroom turns on. It's at that moment that I suddenly remember. It's likely that I'm going to have to fight here. I'd forgotten about sensing that when I entered the room.
Aha! So that's where you got to, Sensei. I've been looking all over for you. Ooh, who's the honey? Were you in the middle of trying to score with her?
Good lord.
As if you didn't know. You're the one who lured us both here.
Oh my, did you figure it out? I didn't have a choice after those guys decided on their own to horn in on the fun. You're a bright boy, Sensei. You know what's coming next, don't you?
The general on the monitor gives me a twisted smile. Could Aiga-san's mission be something that would cause him trouble? I can't figure out what his motives are, but he's using us to crush each other. In other words, she's the next challenger that is being set against me. Aiga-san seems to understand this as well, and is staring at the monitor with a quiet animosity.
Sorry about this. Do you know the rule of this tournament?
Only the victor of each match may move on.
I have nothing against you, but I'm in a hurry for my own reasons.
Neither of us, in other words, can back down. Then there should be no hard feelings.
Aiga-san is refreshingly straightforward about this. She immediately takes a fighting stance. A bitter thought comes to me. It's tough being forced to fight my friends, but having to hurt someone that I don't even know is just as bad. Another thought comes on the heels of that one. I don't know this girl. Her appearance here means there are urgent problems that an ordinary student like me can't fathom. What gives me the right to stop her on her mission? Shouldn't I know what's at stake before I take that from her? Thankfully, it seems that she hasn't gone mad like my other friends. Perhaps the enemy doesn't care about clouding the minds of people who don't know each other. If we're still capable of understanding each other, then we should talk this over before we do
That
anything.
will not do. We will speak more of this after one of us wins.
Aiga-san says this so quickly that as if she's reading my mind. For a moment, I'm struck by how she could have known what I was thinking, but I realize that she's right. What good would it do if I was to talk things over? True, the loser cannot leave this room, but until we have a battle, neither of us is going anywhere. It doesn't really matter if we can come to an understanding or not. Until we have our fight, none of our goals are going to be accomplished. If that's the case, then it's better if we don't hear each other's problems before we fight. That could be why Aiga-san hasn't told me anything. This must be her version of kindness. I silently ready my sword. Aiga-san appears to smile slightly when I do. Right. I'm not going to give up on what I'm fighting for either. I need Nanako and my friends to be safe. And I have to make sure that Ms. President is okay. I will use everything I can to protect them. To thank her for her consideration, I make it a point to announce that I'm ready to start the fight.
Here goes. There's no need to hold back.
Indeed. Let us do battle.
Alright, P3 best girl, let's go! This might be hard because she's a zoner.
Damage! Severe impact! Light damage! No! Severe impact! Severe impact! Heavy damage! Severe impact! Ready! Ejected! Throwing fire! Move down! Persona! Move down! Destroy threat!
Ow.
Persona fire!
Good lord.
Severe impact! No!
That got a little dicey. Alright, before we resume bio break. I have returned.
Wowza! Now that's the sensei I know! That hunk of junk was no match for you!
Well, thank you not to insult P3 Best Girl, thank you.
Serves you right! Keep suffering! Friend against friend, beating the heck out of each other!
A machine with the power of a persona. She was made to fight shadows, but I had no idea she was what she was capable of. I feel like my mind's being drained even more than my body. It angers me to see that the general is watching over us with an expression of joy, as if we were some performer as for this argument. I look up and glare at the monitor.
You're making us fight, but it's pointless. We aren't fighting because we hate each other. The reason we can fight is because we respect and trust each other.
A low growl. That's the only sound I hear. The real Teddy never made such a hateful sound. It's actually rather scary.
Stupid! You're such a dumbass! What's with you?
I think we broke it. The image on the monitor distorts along with that outburst. The general is having trouble remembering to act like someone else, and his face bulges and ripples distortedly as hate pours through the screen. Any pretense at copying the adorable stupidity of the real Teddy is gone now. I notice that the voice is spitting out these hateful words is not Teddy's either.
Trust? So what if you don't hate each other? You're not like me. I was forced to fight against my will. I destroyed them with my own hands. You should all have to go through the hell I suffered. See how it feels to destroy everyone you call a friend. If I knew this was gonna happen, I would have made the rules so you had to kill your opponent to move on.
The general on the monitor continues to rage.
What are you talking about? Why did you set this tournament up?
The moment I say that, I feel that all the dots. I feel that all the dots have become connected. When Miss President had asked out of the blue if we were going to be forced to kill each other, that ominous muttering of killing one another. We were both something. Were those both something that had come directly from her past? Maybe she had been forced to fight against people she didn't want to fight. Had she been forced to destroy something that was? Had she been forced to destroy something that was precious to her? There's no way to know for sure, but it's possible. Considering this, it kind of explains why her shadow would have created a tournament like this. That is, she wanted us to feel what she went through. I might not be entirely correct, but I feel like I'm close to the truth. Should I just ask General Teddy about my suspicions? But as I'm considering raising my voice.
Pardon my eccentric entrance.
Hey, Elizabeth. Guys, I think she might be pissed that I forgot about rating her in my Rate the Super last week. Someone comes crashing through the ceiling. What in the world? I rush over to Aiga-san to protect her from the falling debris. Hey, Elizabeth. When I look up, I see a young woman emerge from the cloud of dust. While not as strange as Aiga, she seems a little uncommon as well. But even besides that, why did she have to come through the ceiling? This room has doors! It makes no sense at all. I was about to get to the heart of the matter with General Teddy, but the monitor in this room has been destroyed, along with the ceiling. Though she seems oblivious to my confusion, the girl cocks her head and apologizes again.
Oh, please excuse me. I didn't have the faintest idea that someone would be here.
Faintest?
Feigned? Fiend? Something along those lines at any rate.
By the way, super excited PlayStation Portable is getting released on PC. What the hell is she talking about? Who in the world is this person? Wait a second. That blue suit she's wearing, it looks familiar. And with that silver hair and golden eyes? Could it be?
From the Velvet Room?
My, is this what's known as being hit on? A forbidden ritual where one human approaches another based solely on appearance and bets on the inner self being equally attractive.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
What? No, I'm not hitting on you. You just remind me of someone I know.
Okay, so that actually sounded like Okay, so that actually sounded like I really was hitting on her. No, I need to stop thinking about that. In any case, I need to ask her
Do
something.
you happen to know anyone by the name of Margaret?
Margaret.
When she repeats the name, her face seems surprisingly youthful. I've been taken aback by her bizarre speech and actions. But could this be? But could this girl be younger than me? I highly doubt it. Her profile simultaneously evokes the image of a pondering philosopher and an innocent girl. I can't figure out how exactly to speak to her. Should I be more polite? I guess it doesn't matter too much. Anyway, worrying about the nicety isn't the most important thing right now.
Actually, we should introduce ourselves first. I'm Yu Narukami.
Ah, that had slipped my mind also. My name is Elizabeth. Dear me, to hear that name fraught with memories in such a mundane, remote place.
She thinks of this world as a mundane place. That's confusing. Justin Inaba may be out in the countryside, but I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. The girl, Elizabeth, suddenly bows elegantly to me.
Margaret is indeed my sister's name. Can I take that to mean that you are another guest of that room?
I see. So she's Margaret's sister. That would explain why she reminds me of her.
Elizabeth-san, huh? Well, I guess that's the case. It's true that there was a time when I visited that room.
Igor, Margaret, and now Elizabeth. It seems there are more people who call that place home than I thought. I think I'm glad to meet Margaret last year instead of this girl.
Why is a resident of the Velvet Room here? Did Margaret send you with a message or something?
I am currently utterly neglecting my duties.
I love how he said that so excitedly.
Is that so?
That doesn't really tell me much, and I have no response anyway. So what possessed her to come blasting through the ceiling instead of using the door? I decided not bothering asking her that. I met so many different people all over the last year, but I'm trying to have a conversation with this girl. I met so many different people over the last year, but trying to have a conversation with this girl is like trying to ride a wild horse. Blech. She's just going to ignore the direction I'm trying to steer us towards and just veer off wherever she wants. Best to just hold on and go along for the ride then. Maybe if I pay attention, she'll tell me something worth my time. Even if I try to ask her any questions, she'll likely just be confused anyway. Just as I'm having that thought, the girl seems to have noticed my hesitation and starts to talk about herself. Starts to walk about herself? What? Her eyes are lit up with a sincere passion. She really is a hard one to read.
I have a certain desire. It may take a very long time for it to be realized. In order for my wish to be granted, I require a power much greater than what I have. The power of the wild card that changes bonds into strength. I have a feeling that the key lies there.
I know a little about the wild card, but
I feel that the first glue to granting my wish lies within that power.
glue?
Glue? Influenza. Something along those lines at any rate.
It's not along those lines at all! Give me a clue! She's having trouble coming up with the right words, but I can hear the sincerity in her speech. Probably. In other words, I think she means that the power of the wild card is related to her desire and came here. I don't think it's worth it to ask how she knew I had that power, or where she found out about it. Just as I'm struggling to follow the meandering path of her conversation, she brings up an outrageous suggestion.
Might I suggest that you and I fight?
What? Someone please tell me how she reached the conclusion that this was a good idea. I don't think I have a chance of talking her out of it, though. But of course I have to try, so I say...
Oh, how excited this is making me. My expectations are ascending skyward at Mach speed. To be direct, I'd like for you to show me the potential slumbering within you.
Oh, good lord. This is going to be bad.
Let me make sure of something, just in case. You understand what I'm saying, right? There's no illusions at work?
Such parlor tricks can get stuffed.
I see. So you're actually in your right mind here. That's kind of, impressive.
Just so you know, guys, if you're not familiar with the Persona series, is the Velvet Room attendants tend to be optional bosses, and they're the hardest fights in the entire game. Well, maybe she understood what I meant when I mentioned the illusions. If that's so, then she at least must have some idea what's going on around here. And even though she might understand it, she still wants to fight me. I wonder, though, if she's unrelated to General Teddy's plan and invited herself into the tournament, do the usual rules apply? As I think about this, Elizabeth-san taps her foot on the ground and takes a fighting posture. She really does want to fight. The huge leather-bound book in her hand opens as if by itself. A torrent of power pours from the open book with the blue light. Yeah, the book we saw Margaret wield, Elizabeth also has one. That's the Persona Compendium. And with that, she can use any persona. That alone should tell you that there's trouble. I can't believe that the strange girl has such unimaginable power. She seems so aloof. No, it may be more correct to call it an air of imminent violence.
All right. I won't be able to hold back.
Can't afford to hold back. Holding back means death. To be honest, I really only have... I was really only saying that in hopes of bluffing her. I have absolutely no room to hold back in this fight. I hurriedly cast off my fear and focus on the upcoming battle. There's no room for doubt. I need to hit her with my full strength from the start. Even if I were to fight and hit her with the intent of killing her, I'll be lucky not to end up dead myself. At least that's how I feel. Elizabeth's song calmly begins the battle.
Let's do this. Your fate is in the cards.
Oh, whoops. That should be here. And from what I hear, Elizabeth is a monster in this game. Make it delay. Make it. Let me get. Oh, I can't. Megalodon for everyone.
Please don't hold back. Impressive. From this moment forward. Impressive. Well done.
Wow. My tactic of being aggressive worked. Get a CG for it. Just when I thought I'd managed to throw her off balance, Elizabeth's son gets back up and elegantly as if nothing had just happened. She is blocking my sword with her book. She is blocking my sword with her book. Let that sink in. Suddenly, I feel an intensity build up in the air. Don't tell me she hadn't been taken this seriously at all until now. Well, obviously she hadn't if I could perfect her. In the next moment, I'm swallowed out into a torrent of power, like a leaf being blown into the air, without the slightest understanding of what's happening. My vision blurred as I'm spun about, and before I can tell up from down, the floor jumps towards me and I'm slammed into the ground. Am I going to lose? As my consciousness fades, I see the faces of my friends and Aiga-san. All those I fought out against up in all those I have fought up against up until now. It's like that story that you see your life flash before your eyes just before you die. Am I dying? Can I really accept that? I'll fight as much as I have to in order to save my friends. I have to keep fighting. I've come so far, I can't lose heart now. I desperately force my legs to move and manage to stand up again. Elizabeth-san shuts her book with an air of finality.
I see. I am quite content with this outcome. It seems you possess true strength.
Yet yielding torrent of power suddenly ceases without warning. Is it over? As I come to understand that, I continue to stand stock still, unable to
I
move.
believed you were at the limits of your stamina after the battle against Igus earlier. In actuality, your heart almost gave in during your struggle with me. But each time you faltered, the many hearts supporting you gave you strength, helping you to rise again.
Yeah, that's kind of how the wild card works. She cuts herself off and nods to herself, as if confirming some suspicion.
This was truly an intriguing battle. I believe our encounter has borne much flute.
Good lord.
Flute?
Flue? Chimneys.
Good lord. Fruit! You meant fruit!
In any case, I am quite pleased.
Make a delay on the gaimasu. Gaizaimasu. I am sorry, I completely butchered that. Even after a battle, even after a battle, she acts like that. I feel like a fool for believing that she really would have killed me, even if it felt quite real at the time. I can't believe any of this. My legs give out under me, and I sink into the ground. Maybe she understands how I feel. Elizabeth-san looks straight into my
May I
eyes.
ask you something? To continue fighting in order to prevent an undesirable future, it is a path of endless hardship. Would you still choose to walk it?
Margaret had said something similar just before this tournament had begun. How I had overcome the ordeal, how I had come to, how I had overcome the ordeal concerning last year's case, the open door, and opened the door. Margaret's and Elizabeth-san's word has come together in my mind.
Working for a better tomorrow isn't just a one-time thing. The tomorrows keep coming.
Well said. Opening the door is necessary, but it's not what's truly important. What's more important is making sure you don't follow the path that's beyond. That you follow the path that's beyond the door. I completely changed the context of that. Only once you have that path in mind does it matter whether you've opened the door or not. That's how I
I
feel.
will keep fighting for the future we want.
Elizabeth's son smiles. It seems the former dweller of the Velvet Room is pleased with my answer. She must have chosen a path of her own at some point, and is doing everything in her power to see it through. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions, but I feel if I'm able to understand, and I feel as if I'm able to understand her a little better now.
Well then, it's time for me to bid you adieu. By your leave, I, Elizabeth, am out of here.
With this, Elizabeth briskly walks out of the room. She caused me some trouble, but I've also learned something about myself as well. I think I'll call it a draw. As I wave goodbye to Elizabeth, I hear Agus getting to her feet behind me.
Are you alright? You shouldn't force yourself to move.
Sorry. Getting to her feet behind me. I was concerned at first, but Agathon doesn't seem to be very hurt, or damaged, or whatever you would say. Because she's P3 Best Girl. She was likely just knocked out. I had absolutely no chance of winning if I'd gone easy on her either. This is getting ridiculous.
You are very kind. We've only just met, and yet you're worried about a machine like myself.
Spoilers, she's come closer to being an actual human than any robot ever.
Isn't that normal?
Agathon laughs at my confusion.
Seeing you smile like that, I don't know. I just can't think of you as a machine. You have a heart, right? Then it doesn't matter whether you're man or machine.
Agathon stops laughing and thinks deeply for a moment. But after a few seconds, she looks back at me with a serious look in her eyes.
You have defeated me in single combat. That will make it difficult for me to continue forward. But I believe I can trust you. Will you listen to my mission directive?
I have no reason to say no. I look at Agathon square in the eye and nod reassuringly. And so, Agathon told me about her directive. And it was truly surprising. There was another case involving personas and shadows outside of Inaba, even before our adventure last year. And she is a weapon with a heart, created with the express purpose of wielding a persona to fight the shadows. She believes that this current situation came to be because of someone. It came to be because someone had stolen a similar weapon and caused it to enter the world, the TV world.
There's another girl robot with a heart like you, and she's the cause of all this?
I wonder who that can be.
We came to this world to retrieve her. My older sister, the 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labris, is in this world somewhere.
We have a name, people. Nanako, Miss President, her shadow, and now Labris. I have a mountain of tasks to accomplish now. But even though I have a lot to do, I can't ignore any of it.
Tell me more about Labris, and I'll do what I can to help you get her back.
Unfortunately,
Aiga-san's expression clouds. She said that she was a machine, but she really is no different from a human. As I ponder this, I listen to what she has to say. It's discouraging.
So you don't know what she looks like, what she can do, or what equipment she's loaded with.
Basically, all she can tell me is that Labris is a robot who's built to look like a girl. Wait a second. I did meet a girl I didn't know in the TV world. Miss President. Could Miss President be Labris?
Is there a possibility that she looks, well, more human than you? You mentioned earlier that she was your older sister, so I assume she was built before you, but...
my sister was an older model, a prototype for the 5th generation to be exact. It's doubtful that she would look more human than myself.
Then there's no way Miss President could be Labris. I could tell at first glance that Aiga-san was a machine. Miss President appears to be completely human. I never considered that she might not be human until just now. But that just makes things even more complicated. What in the world is going on inside this TV?
In any case, I'll keep an eye out for her. But right now, I'm heading to the announcement room. If Labris is the cause of this, then I'm bound to meet up with her eventually.
I shrugged slightly. I don't want to be so grave. I guess I'm a sense that I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do and smiles.
Thank you. I will trust my sister's fate to you.
Of course. I give Aiga-san a determined nod and run out of the classroom. But man, what a busy golden week. I have to make sure Nanako is okay, find Miss President, unmask whoever's masquerading as Teddy, and now search for Labris somewhere in here. If this wasn't happening, I'd be kicking it with my friends at the Junes food court. Yukiko was trying to be coy, but I'm pretty sure that big bundle she was carrying was a boxed lunch she made for us. As to how it might taste, well, let's not get sidetracked. I'm sure we'd all have enjoyed it anyway. Eventually, I would have called Nanako over, and we would have brought some snacks together. There were things I wanted to buy from the Shiroku store, and maybe I could have made it to Sozai a Daigaku in time and to buy the last of their special croquet. I wanted to talk to the owner of Daidara and get some books from Yominaido Bookstore. By the way, yes, these are all real places within Persona 4. I'd have a steak bowl at Aya, hang out with the fox at the Tatsumi Shrine, waited for my uncle so we could have dinner, and tomorrow I'd have gone fishing. All things that can happen in Persona 4, by the way. If the one who ruined my vacation and caused all these problems is the same person who stole Labris, if they truly brought Nanako back into the TV world, I will catch them.
You're not getting away from me.
As I run on, I come across yet another blue door. Perhaps it's a sign that I need to calm down. True, I may have lost my cool for a moment.
Here again?
I reach towards the door with a relaxed smile. Margaret is in her usual position. I glanced around to see if there's anyone else in here. It looks like her nutcase of a sister isn't here. Margaret notices me looking and smiles, a seductive sound that Margaret notices as me looking and sighs, a seductive sound that also conveys annoyance.
It seems my sister has caused you some trouble. Though this may mean that I'm not the only one who is drawn to the light of your potential.
There's a hint of tenderness towards her sister in her words. Her sister must be important to her. I can tell from the look on her face. I do look like. Do I look like that when I talk about Nanako? Margaret pulls herself together and speaks again.
You have gained a new resolve by overcoming many doubts and falsehoods.
A new resolve. I find myself nodding
You
along.
have reached the threshold of truth. But man's hearts are mutable. That is why a resolve to continue fighting is more important than any one victory or defeat.
Yeah, I understand.
But this will be a difficult battle without end. Are you equal to the challenge?
The way she puts it makes it seem like she was as if she was testing me. I don't respond immediately and think about the question. It would be lying to say that I'm not worried. I know that my heart can be swayed by challenge and by change. There's no knowing what will happen from moment to moment. But
If
even
I have my
then,
friends, if I'm not alone, I can do it.
I see.
Margaret nods slightly in
I have
response.
heard your answer, but it's not enough. Remember what I told you before? The heart is shaken more by a single action than by 1,000 words.
As she smiles, my vision begins to blur. I hear words being repeated. I have reached the threshold of the truth. Everything that's happened during the course of the case runs through my mind. A new appearance of the shadow, the new appearance of the TV world, this tournament pitting us against each other, the student council president and a fake Teddy. My encounter with a weapon and with a heart, Aiga-san searching for her sister Labris, and the determination that I have gained through these constant battles. What I must accomplish. How do I show that I have decided what I decided through my actions? It seems that the number of invisible walls has decreased. Could this mean that the end is near? Just as I think that, I hear a familiar voice. Hello. That was Miss President's voice. It was coming from the door to the announcement room. I finally made it. I opened the door to the announcement room and rushed inside.
You're finally here. Hello, Sensei.
Hello, not Teddy.
Congratulations! How does it feel to have won the P1 Grand Prix?
The general smirks at me as I pass through the door. Behind him, Miss President and Rise. When the two of them see me, Miss President looks confused, while Rise's face lights up with joy.
There you are, Senpai. You're late.
I have to stay cautious of the general, but I signal to the girls that everything will be alright. The general is closer to them than I am. I can't afford to make any reckless moves just yet. And there's one more thing I need to know.
Teddy, where's Nanako?
I look around the announcement room, but Nanako is nowhere to be found. The general's face distorts with an ugly glee.
Nana-chan's right here. See?
Slowly, the general extends an arm that was held behind him. And there was Nanako. Her arms are clutched to her chest, and she slowly takes a few steps towards me, obviously frightened.
Nanako!
After taking a step forward, I noticed something bizarre. The general disappeared. For a brief instant, my full attention had been focused on Nanako. The general had been standing directly behind her, but now he's gone. How could he have gone somewhere else that quickly, right in front of me, without me noticing it?
Bro.
While I'm confused about the general's disappearance, Nanako weakly calls to me. Being in the TV world has obviously taken a toll on her. She totters towards me unsteadily, looking ready to collapse at any moment. I can think about the general later. I have to save Nanako right now. As I reach out to her, Risa yells, "Fun fact, Nanako was to be a playable fighter." Yeah, they were going to have Dojima as a playable character, and she was going to like summon Nanako with a persona. He was going to summon Nanako with a persona button. It was like an in-joke with the dev team.
Senpai, no! Nanako-chan's not there!
Nanako's not here? What is she saying? She's right here. Just as I'm about to say so, my hand stops. Something's not right. I tried to look at Nanako's face once more, and in her eyes, I saw madness.
Oh, so close! Just a little more and Sensei would have been a goner!
You bastard!
I barely reacted in time to draw my sword and block the attack. The general suddenly appeared out of nowhere to attack me with his cane, and I get a good look at him as our weapons clash together. I see the madness in his face, the same madness that I had seen in Nanako's only a moment before. That's when I noticed that Nanako has disappeared. What's going on?
You got it wrong, Senpai! It's all been him from the beginning! He can make whoever's looking at him see him as someone else.
So he's not actually taking on other forms?
Yeah?
No, he's just distorting the things you see and hear.
That's right. The enemy is able to control what I see and hear. I realized that after all the battles I had had today, but seeing Nanako had made me forget all that. The general laughs at this.
It's hard for me to show someone who isn't here. But you actually saw this Nanako girl? You're hopeless.
Just like how my friends hadn't actually gone crazy before our fights, Nanako had never been brought into this world in the first place. The appearance before me is a fake. He distorted our senses all to make us suffer. But just as I thought, he couldn't deceive Risei's persona abilities. That's why he kidnapped her, to keep her from warning us during this tournament. Now that I know that... Fun fact, the English voice actors for Risei and Narukami are the same voice actor as that voice Sailor Moon and Artemis. Oh, interesting. Also, welcome to the stream, Ethical. I pushed in... now that I know that, I pushed the general's cane away and jumped back toward the girls in order to distance myself from him. Good. Now I'm between them and the general. Then I look straight at the one behind this bizarre... I then look at straight at the one behind this bizarre situation.
Who in the world are you?
You still can't tell? Seriously, the level of intelligence around here. Fine then. Here. Get a good look.
Oh, crap. Poncho Teddy. My, don't you have a familiar face? That is so cool.
I am a shadow. The true self.
Yep.
That's my face.
I saw metal limbs, golden eyes, a ponytail, and a mirror image of Miss President's face, even though she was standing behind me,
How
trembling.
about it? You wanted to see what I am, didn't you?
Why does she look like me? That's its true form. That thing is your shadow. This is a shadow? She really came from inside me?
Mise tries to calm Miss President, but the girl shakes her head in denial and squeezes her eyes shut. While Miss President refuses to look at this mechanical-looking being, I now understand what's going on. Because this isn't the first time I've seen a robotic girl before. All the facts match up. The way she was able to run so fast without so much just breathing heavily, even in the TV world. The sense of wrongness that I had when Miss President had asked me about killing my friends. The way she avoided telling me her name, that superhuman strength when she hit Chie, and that incredible jump to get away from us. And the Shadow's ability to interfere with the senses of other people. Just as Margaret has said, all the pieces to the puzzle were laid out before me. They've all come together, and now I can see the truth. She is indeed Labrys. Labrys, another weapon with a heart, stolen by someone unknown and thrown into the TV world, created the school and forced us to fight our friends. This deep-rooted depression regarding her past memories, all this took the form of Labrys' shadow. That should not be an apostrophe after that S. Who manipulated everything here.
Labrys, don't look away. If you don't accept her, she'll get even stronger.
Yeah, that is a thing. Miss Labrys only shivers when I call out to her. There has to be some reason why she believed that she was the student council president. But that's just a disguise. More for herself than for us. No matter how comfortable it is, as it's only there to cloud our eyes from the truth.
I don't know what your past was like. It must have had some painful memories. But you have us with you now. We're going to get you out of here.
I call out to Labrys while keeping an eye on the shadow. The shadow is the darkness within a person's heart. Unless it is accepted by the person it came from, it will never disappear for good. But with that in mind, all we can do is watch over her as she accepts this darkness within her. We'll have to protect her when the shadow goes berserk and tries to kill her. But Labrys continues to shake her head and tremble violently. My words aren't getting through to her.
You hear that, me? Your friend is trying to tell you something. Too bad he doesn't understand at all. His friends are so hopelessly naive.
The shadow laughs shrilly. It continues to smear more poison into Labrys'
I
heart.
wish I could have made them feel my pain. What it's like having to murder one another. That sadness and pain and anguish. Everything went black, and I was always left alone. I'm a weapon. A machine made only to fight. No human can understand my suffering. Stop! I've had enough. I'm human. I'm not like that.
This isn't good. I settle into a fighting stance, ready for anything, though I have a good idea what's going to happen.
Oh, you're still clinging to that? Then take a look at what you really are!
The shadow's eyes gleam with golden light. The change begins immediately. Yep. The shimmer runs across Labrys's body, and instead of the normal human girl there being a moment ago, she has a metallic body just like a shadow.
No! No!
Labrys loses all composure and scratches at her arm, trying to tear away the metal that had appeared. But there was more to her change than just her arms. Her legs, waist, chest, even her head. Everything not covered by her clothing was now obviously mechanical. The reality that she didn't want to face. There's no words we can say to her. No matter what we say, reality won't change. Labrys falls to her knees, and finally mutters the words I was dreading she'd say. Yep. It does that.